I'm Pat Burns, the CIO at Colorado State University. I'm going to talk more about our project and then leave it to John Hunter to talk about the product later on. So the theme is always do the right things. You'll please a small number of people and astonish a much larger number of people. So we took that to heart. And then the outline of the presentation I call the 5 W's and the H from Rudyard Kipling. And then we're going to end up with a thanks to the entire community. CSU is a very high research university, Carnegie class. We're a public land-grant institution. We have about 25,000 students and an $800 million annual budget. Administratively, we're parsimonious, although probably not as parsimonious as San Joaquin. We have about 50 IT staff in central admin computing, 40 in central academic computing, 50 in business and financial services, and about 10 technical functional staff in our financial systems services division. We have exceptional staff who are dedicated and consummate experts. One of the things that positioned us for Kuali is that we had been and are best of breed for IT administrative systems. We did Oracle HR in 2002 and SunGard Banner Student in 2007. And in terms of how we conduct large IT projects, no large IT project is an IT project. It's a functional area project that IT supports, and our focus is on the end users. And it's always a partnership for us. The leads in our areas do both. They have night jobs and they have day jobs. Their day jobs are to operate the existing systems, and their night jobs are to implement the new systems. We have no backfill of staff. If you see the most tired people at this conference, in the next few days, they're likely to be our CSU leads. We've got the best project manager in the region, Don Hesser, too. So what was the decision process for us? We had a board mandate to upgrade our old FRS system, which I think had been in production for 17 years, 19 before we decommissioned it. We really wanted a modern system to manage our finances rather than to just record them. And we had a board mandate to implement by January of 2009, which we talked them into July of 2009 instead. We wanted it integrated with a research management system as well, because our research environment was getting more complex and growing. And there was and there is only one solution to both of those products today for us, and it's Kuali Finance and Kuali COIS. They are the only system that do integrate both of those, and they're fully featured in both areas. And we like the fact that we get to influence the development. And so we're drinking the Kool-Aid, think of Jim Jones, of Community Source. And we respectfully disagree with the keynote speaker today. We implemented it exactly for the reasons he slightly disparaged at the beginning of his remarks, plus the reasons he covered at the end of his remark. We saved millions of dollars by doing this. We actually never costed out a vendor solution, but we know we saved millions of dollars. We are budgeted both projects, that's research and finance, for $3.9 million. And Brad Wheeler said, didn't you drop a decimal point on that? Shouldn't that be 39? No, it's $3.9 million. That's the way it's in red. And we expect to try to get some of that service integration benefit via the SOA, and that will position us for the future as well. So how did we implement? Lots of people did lots of things for many, many days. We had our senior vice president and provost at the top of the project structure. Me as the VP for IT, my duties at the university are chair warming, conducting the business of the university, in other words, going to meetings and talking. It's the people down in the third row and fourth row who implemented our system and made it work. And what we did very importantly was we engaged a steering committee of 24 folks across the institution, many from the academic colleges. And we sent some of them here to the Kuali Days, and they came back saying, this is the right thing for us to do. And that committee met, and there were 24 ayes to proceed with Kuali and 0 nays. So we did the proper groundwork laying for this. Sorry? See, I can't that's going forwards.
Let's try this.
The VP for IT should resign his title, I think, at this point. There's the reality triangle. Functionality and time and dollars all trade off against each other. At CSU, you've seen we had limited dollars, and you'll see we had very limited time to do this. All three trade off against each other, so what do you think suffered with those two factors? And not really very much. We went live on a pre-release version. We didn't have a plan B. Does anybody remember Cortez who burned the ships? We were going live on Kuali, July 1st, 2009. We had no plan B. We were going to make it work, and we did. And, you know, that's really testimony to our faith in the product, and it's really testimony to our faith in this community. Has anybody seen the Strachey project hype cycle chart? Anybody? Yeah, so there it is, the technology trigger, and then there's positive hype, and the peak of inflated expectations, the trough of disillusionment, the slope of enlightenment, and the plateau of productivity. That's our project mapped onto that project hype cycle. And these slides are available, so I'm not going to go through those in detail right now, but I encourage you to download them and amuse yourselves as we have. So we briefly traversed the trough of disillusionment, and that's true for any large administrative system. You can't implement any large administrative system. You can't test it nowadays and all of its features and functionality. Too complex. And, you know, the two-word job description of VP for IT is to minimize complexity, right? But we are on the slope of enlightenment and heading toward the plateau of productivity. The perspective is that we had incredible support from the community. Very quick fixes were provided by the community, and really excellent quality people and fixes, creative solutions. And the campus remained and remains committed to Kuali throughout the entire process, and we communicated very liberally with them. And in fact, our training was a little bit different than Tom's. Our experiences were, we over-trained, I think. We had many, many training sessions, and the people stopped coming. It wasn't the front-end people didn't need much training because the web interface is really, you know, point, click, and grunt. We have an action list, and they're still fixing things. You know, the 6 months that we wish we had before we went live, we froze the code on May 31st, 2009. Okay, so we had a whole 4.5 weeks of testing. So the 6 months of testing that we would have liked to have had beforehand on version 3, we're doing now. Okay, we are seeing some performance issues on the front end, not the back end, at the end of the month, and for very, very large documents. So we're working through those. We implemented SideQuest in the sandwich model, and we're having difficulty passing some documents through, but we're going to get that fixed too. We're looking forward to future enhancements, and we believe that sustainability has been achieved, and we're happy about that.